All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready to dive into some more awesome advice?
Let's do it.
Today, we're going to tackle something that I think is super relevant, especially for those of you who are, maybe in their 20s.
Yeah.
And that is, well, it's this source we found. It's basically like a cheat sheet for setting yourself up for like financial success, early on.
Oh, nice.
It's packed with a bunch of practical tips, actionable things you can actually do. So
cool.
let's unpack it.
Yeah, let's get into it. This is a really key time, I think, in a person's life to start thinking about this stuff. A lot of your financial habits that you carry with you through life are formed during these years. And so the decisions you make now, they can kind of have that ripple effect.
Oh, yeah, they totally do.
Years to come, right?
It's like almost like building a house. You got to have a solid foundation to support everything else that comes after.
Right.
So where do we even begin with that? Like, how do we start building that strong financial foundation?
I think, well, this source really emphasizes a solid budget. Like that's got to be the cornerstone of any sort of financial plan you're going to make. But think of it as a roadmap, It's not supposed to restrict you. It's supposed to help you understand where your money is actually going.
Okay.
So that you can then make really conscious choices about how you're spending and how you're saving.
Okay, so it's not about like depriving yourself.
Yeah.
It's more about kind of knowing where your money's going
and
making, conscious decisions. Yes, okay. But let's be real for a sec. Most people in their 20s aren't, exactly rolling in dough.
Right.
So how do you kind of balance like that saving, investing, and
how do you enjoy it?
Yeah, enjoying life.
How do you have fun?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, the source actually suggests, and I think this is a nice, simple way to think about it. It's called the 50-30-20 rule. Okay, so what that means is 50% of your income should be going to like the essentials.
Your rent, your groceries,
the stuff you need to live.
Yeah.
30% then goes to your personal spending. This is your fun money.
This
is going out to dinner. This is, seeing a show, whatever.
Gotcha.
And then the last 20% goes to savings and any debt repayment that you've got going on.
Okay.
So that's a good framework.
It's a good, like, simple framework. It makes it less intimidating. Like, you can actually imagine yourself sticking to it.
Yeah.
Okay. What about, like, investing, though? You always hear that that's, like, crucial, but
it's so important.
It just seems so complex.
Yeah.
Like
it can feel that way. Yeah.
What do you even do?
Well, the source highlights something really amazing called the magic of compound interest.
Right. Compound interest, yeah.
And I think this is a good way to visualize this. Imagine you're 25 years old and you decide, you know what? I'm just going to invest $50 a month.
Okay.
And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that grows consistently.
Okay.
All right? By the time you reach retirement, that could potentially balloon to over $200,000.
Wow.
But let's say you wait until you're 35 to do that same thing.
Okay.
You're only going to end up with like $80,000.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
it's all about time, right?
So it's really about time in the market. That makes total sense.
Yeah, starting early is like so key.
Even if it's small amounts, right? Like $50 a month, most people can swing that.
Yeah. And consistently. It's about that consistency.
And it adds up. Like, it's almost like you're planting a seed and you're watching it grow into this big tree.
I love that analogy. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But be honest, isn't there like risk involved with investing? I always think of that. Like, I get a little...
Of course, yeah. Well, yeah, there's always some level of risk involved in anything like this. But I think this is where a growth mindset is really important, right? Yeah. Don't be afraid to explore different options. Seek advice.
Yeah.
Learn as you go. Your 20s are a time to experiment and to find what works for you. And remember, like, even the most seasoned investors,
they make mistakes
all the time. It's about learning from it.
Totally. Okay.
Adapting your strategy.
It's about being open to learning and not getting discouraged if it doesn't work out perfectly right away.
Exactly.
That makes me feel a lot better about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about like those unexpected expenses that always seem to come up? Life throws curveballs. How do we prepare for that?
Right. Well, this is where an emergency fund becomes like your safety net.
It's a safety net.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. Yeah.
And so if you have ideally like 3 to 6 months of your living expenses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tucked away somewhere, that can really prevent like a minor setback
Yeah.
from turning into a full-blown crisis, right?
Oh, totally.
It's like a buffer.
It's the, like, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, that would be invaluable. Just
Yeah.
knowing you have that, like, you hope you never have to use it.
Exactly.
But if you do, you're like, thank goodness.
Right.
Okay, so we've got our budget, our investing plan, our emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
What else should we be thinking about in our 20s?
Well, I think the source also really stresses proactively managing debt,
Oh, yeah.
especially like if you have student loans, credit card debt, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of people do in their 20s.
Right. But understanding how interest works and creating like a realistic repayment plan
Okay.
can save you like so much money
Wow, yeah.
in the long run.
That's huge. Okay, so it's not just about avoiding debt. It's also about knowing how to
Manage it.
manage it. Yeah, like you've got a game plan for how to tackle it.
You're taking control.
Yeah, you're taking control instead of it
Instead of letting it control you.
controlling you. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's a great point. It feels like we've covered a lot of ground here. Budgeting, investing, those emergency funds, debt management. It's like a whole roadmap, like you said, for financial well-being.
Yeah. It's a good roadmap for your 20s. And so now that we've kind of gone through all of this, what's one small step, just one little thing that you can do today, right now, to put any one of these tips into action?
Yeah. What's your first step?
Yeah.
Love that.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for listening.